We purchase material, we pay cash. Who is purchasing? Company 1, department 1, maybe so and so. Let us not worry about. Here let us talk about broadly company 1 making purchases and company 1 is only making cash payment. They are purchasing, they are cash making cash. Same company 1 is making a payment by cash. When we talk about company 1 point of view, that's perfect, no issues. Now let us talk about company 2 point of view. Company 2 making sales. When they make the sales, what they write? They write cash account debtor to sales account. They got the cash because they made the sales. They got cash because they made the sales. Company 2 got cash, company 2 made sales. Company 2 point of view, the transaction whatever you see is perfect. Company 1 point of view, you see purchase, they made purchases, they paid cash. Company 2 point of view, see they got cash because they made sales. Here in Oracle application, let us assume that company 1 making purchases from company 2, whereas company 2 making sales to company 1. Transaction occurring between two different companies. Company 1 purchasing material, whereas company 2 making sales to company 1. Transaction occurring between two companies, two different companies. So here what I am going to do for this purchase debit, I am not going to give this cash of credit. For this sales credit, this debit of cash I am not going to give. For this debit, cash credit I am not going to give. For this credit sales I am not going to give debit of cash. I want these two, my system has to bring this. I am not going to do anything. For this debit, system has to bring the credit automatically. For this credit, system has to give the debit automatically. I want my system to give it. Is this clear? Yeah. What I will write then? Company 1 made purchases, whereas company 2 making sales to company 1. Company 1 is purchasing something from company 2. Only this black color you see, this line I am going to draft. Whereas these two lines, system is going to bring it automatically. For this, you require to go to your ledger first. What's my ledger? Tata ledger. So first one you see Tata Group ledger. Tata Group ledger, how many setup steps that you see? 4. How many setup steps? 4 you see. Do you remember how many are there? 4 are there. Yeah. Go to update. Can you see below rounding difference? There is one option called as what? Enable intracompany balancing. Highlight it. Before this, let me remove this reversal first. Finish. So you see, enable intra-company balancing should be enabled. Go with finish. You have just enabled intra-company balancing for ledger, Tata Group ledger. In order to use this feature, you must complete the intra-company balancing rule setup step for this ledger in the accounting options page. So you require to do some accounting options again. Here you see there is something called as right side. You see return to accounting option. Click here. You go back here. When you go back here, you see now how many setup steps are there. How many were there earlier? Now how many are there now?
There were 4 before, now there are 5.
Yes. Intra-company balancing rule got added. For this you go with what? Update. Then define rules. Then go with what? Create rules. Define rules and go with what? Create rules. So Tata Group ledger, Tata Group structure, currency INR, source category. We have a predefined source called as other. We also predefined category called as other. Whenever you do intra-company for the first time, please do select source and category as other when you do for first time. Here you see we got something called as balancing details. We also got something called as options we have. Options is the second tab. First we'll start our journey with balancing details. Then we'll go to options. The balancing detail, debit balancing segment value. How many segment values that we have? How many balancing segment values that we have?
3 kinds. Company, department.
Balancing segment values, we have 5 balancing segment values. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 is the balancing segment values. Apart from that, you see one more new one that is called as all other. You see, now tell me, transaction may occur between which company, C1 to C2 or C2 to C3, which company to which company transaction may occur? You can't tell. If you tell C1 to C2, then I will ask you, what about C2 to C3? You say yes, C2 to C3, then I'll ask you C3 to C4. So your transaction may occur between C1 to other 4, C2 to other 4, C3 to other 4, likewise. So here you see, I take what? All other. I take what? All other. All other in earlier version, 11A version, when you take all other, it used to give the message. All other represent all balancing segment values. That means C1 to C5. Now here you see all other represent all balancing segment values. That means transaction may occur between any company to any company. So debit is what? All other. Credit also you can go with what? All other. Debit all other, credit also all other. Then debit account, it will ask you some default account we require to give. I am just giving default account is C01. D01, A03 cash I am giving. So here mind you, for debit and credit, I am going to give the same. I am not going to change it to C2 like this. Here debit account, credit account, same C1. Do remember, do see here, debit, credit, same C1 I am giving. Nowhere I am changing, here I am not changing C2 like that. So default account I am just giving it as a cash account. C1 D1 cash here also same C1 D1 cash account. After giving this, go to options. The options, here you see, use option called as what? Many to many journals. That means many to many is what? It's like any to any. Many to many is as good as Any to any. Company 1 may transact with other 4, company 2 may transact with other 4, so on. So here also we got some default option called as default rule you select, and prior to that you select many to many. Then go with what here, if you are going to see carefully, down right side we have something called as apply. Click on apply. The moment you see apply, you should get confirmation like this. Balancing rule successfully created. After getting this message, down right side you see status complete is there. Simply say what? Done. When you say done, intra-company balancing, here you see it's got completed. Earlier its status was different. Now status you see it's complete. Once this simple setup is over, what you require to do? Close the window. JV J001, any name you can give. Any category, need not be other, any category you can give. Any period you can do. Company 1, Department 1 made purchases. Company 1, Department 1 made purchases. Company 1, Department 1 made purchases. 7,500. Whereas Company 2, Department 1, they made sales. Company 2 made sales. Company 1, they made purchases from Company 2. Company 1 making purchases, they paid cash, but cash I am not giving. Company 2 got cash because they made sales, but I am not giving cash. I am giving transaction between two different companies, between C1 and C2. C1 is purchasing something from C2 and C2 making sales to C1. I just given debit and credit between two different companies. J001 for January, I go with post. So you got a warning, I don't know why you got warning. Unbalanced, showing unbalanced journal entry. Why unbalanced? So before posting, you say I'll do something. I'll go to Tata Group structure and freeze the structure. For company segment, we already given the qualifier called as balancing. Intercompany also I'll give. Let's see. This actually not required. Without this also it will work. What I done for company segment, we already given balancing. Apart from balancing, now I'm given intra-company segment also. Let's see. I don't think this will complete normal. Same thing, you will get warning. Let's see. Yes. This is what we are doing all this in MRC lecture, not in our regular lecture. This is a problem. We done updation in the Tata group, but we are entering the data in the MRC lecture. So that is the reason you are getting the issue. Now you see Tata group lecture I assigned. JV JV001 any category January any period no problem. Company 1 department 1 made purchases. Company 1 department 1 made purchases. Whereas company 2 department 1 making sales. Company 1 making purchases, company 2 making sales. Company 1 making purchases, company 2 making sales. Company 1 purchasing something from company 2, company 2 making sales to company 1. Go with post. This will get normal. Review structure, unfreeze structure, that intercompany enabling that qualifier also not required actually. Without that also this will work. Completely normal. JV001 for January. JV001 January fine. For C2 credit, system has given C2 debit. C2 got balance with C2, C1 debit got C1 credit. C2 credit got C1 debit. Here you see message also, intracompany balancing line added by posting. Yes, gentlemen.
Yeah, got it.
Harsha.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Now let me show you something called as a ledger set as well as data access set. With this, we can conclude the GL. For this, you required more ledgers. You required 2 more ledgers. Let me create those ledgers quickly. Then we'll try to execute this. Tata Ledger A. What is it? Tata Ledger A. Or yes, Tata Ledger A. Tata Calendar. Currency INR. Go with next. Class key to recompile your structure. Define accounting options. So Tata Ledger A, update. Just give retained earnings. Click on next, click on finish. Reporting currency, right side update. Down right side you see complete, down right side complete. Then balancing segment values update. Here you see add balancing segment values. Go, select all, select complete. Sequencing update. Down right side click on complete, apply. Then ledger, Tata Ledger A got completed, you can click on complete. You get a warning, you say yes, return to accounting setup, create accounting setup. Now I am trying to create one more ledger. What is that? Tata Ledger B. Currency INR. Go to next. Just now we already recompiled, so you don't record recompile again. Click on finish. Define accounting options. Now you see Tata Ledger B, update. Next. 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 Finish. Reporting currency, update. Down right side you see complete. Balancing segment values update. Add balancing segment values. Go, select all, select. Top right side or down your right side you see complete. Then sequencing update. Down right side you see complete. Apply. Then down complete. With this we got complete one more lecture called as start lecture B. Complete. So we created 2 more lectures. Total we got 5 lectures. Because for MRC we created 2 lectures. One is Tata MRC lecture, Tata MRC lecture USD. And prior to these two, we already created original lecture, Tata Group lecture. That is a primary lecture. So that original lecture, MRC lecture, MRC related 2 lectures. And now today, just now, I created Tata Group, Tata lecture A, Tata lecture B. Now, let us start our journey with lecture set. Lecture set. Tata lecture set 001. Short name same thing. Chart of accounts will be Tata. Calendar will be Tata. Here it is going to ask you default lecture. Default lecture, the one which we created initially, the first one you see Tata Group lecture. You select that. Then down, whatever the default here you given, same thing to be given here again. Then apart from that here, I am also going to include all MRC related lectures. So lecture set 1 basically got the default lecture along with that all MRC related lectures like MRC lecture USD. That's what in the lecture set 2 we have, and here you see default lecture also I given here. For lecture set 1, default lecture set I gave. Default lecture I gave. Then down arrow I create lecture set 2. But here you see default value I am not giving here at header level. If you are going to see the previous one, here header level I given the default lecture. Down in the 2 I am not giving header level. Here I am giving the default. And I am giving A, I am giving B. Default I am not giving here, but here I am giving down at line level. Header level for 1 I given. Whereas for 2, no default I given, but I given A and B. And lecture anyway you give. Whereas in the 1, all MRC related lectures along with the default we have. And anyway this is a primer lecture you have. And as I told you, the 2 primary lecture is here but not at header level. So we have created 2 lecture sets. One is Tata lecture set 1, Tata lecture set 2. I go to other profile, page down for 2 times. I am giving lecture set 1, Tata lecture set 1. I am giving Tata lecture set 1. Save this. Now journal enter. Here you see default would be, this is the one which we give a default. Apart from that, when you take a list here, you can see all MRC related lectures we have, because in the set 1 we give MRC as well as MRC USD. So at a time simultaneously using this lecture set we can able to connect to multiple lectures. So default is group, that is Tata Group lecture, along with that MRC also we have. So these 3 lectures you can able to connect simultaneously one by one. I go to other profile. Here I give 2. I give 2. Lecture set 2 I give. I save. I go to J1. Here default you are not seeing. Why you are not seeing? Because header level we didn't given. Being we didn't give a header level, it is not going to display any default. But when you take a list, A is there, B is there, and the default one which we created initially, the default primary lecture, it is going to show you. But here default won't be displayed here. The way it is displaying 001, it won't display here. Because we didn't given in the 002 what is the default one. But when you take a list, you get all this. Followed?
Yeah.
This is called as lecture set. Along with that, we also got something called as data access set we have. Below this you see data access set. Data access set. Data group structure, data calendar, here default you give, default you give, that means default in the sense first one we created, primary. Now here I am giving lecture set 1, lecture set 2. So in the data access set what you are doing, data access set you are assigning lecture sets. Lecture set 1, lecture set 2 and default. Here you see header level you have, here also you have here. Go with save. Data access set I will assign to the profile. I go to other profile, data access set you give, save it. Once you save it, you need to re-log in or switch the responsibility, preferably re-log in. New journal, J1. Here you see how many lectures you see. At a time you can see 5 lectures. Because data access set, we give a combination of lecture set 1 and 2. So you can able to access all the 5 lectures simultaneously. Then you may ask me what is the difference between lecture set and data access set. The major difference between the data access set and lecture set is you see lecture set will have multiple lectures. Data access set also will have multiple lectures. But in the data access set we have option of putting a privilege. What is it privilege? Lecture set 2 where you have A and B, that I would like to make it as what? Read only. This privilege cannot be possible for lecture set. Data access set, this privilege can be implemented by putting what? Read only. Data group lecture, read and write. The primary lecture, initial lecture. Then followed by that, data lecture set 001, read and write. That is MRC, all that you have. That is also read and write. Whereas lecture set 2, where you have A and B, that we are giving only read, but you can't able to write. Right? In the sense, you can't able to pass the entries. If an entry is already there, those entries can be seen. Mind you, please, 2 is only read only. You can able to view the data. You can only see the data, but you can't able to pass the new data. For 2, 1 read and write. Default 1 primary lecture, read and write. Again give it, reassign it. reassign it, save it, preferably relogin. When you go to entry, here you see J1, entry you can see only these three, because one only we give it as read as well as write. You can read as well as write. MRC can also write the entries. Read and write. Whereas 2, we give what? Read only, but not for writing. Here when you go for enquiry ledger, you can see all the ledgers. You can view the data of A, B. You can able to view the data for all the ledgers. View is possible, but when you talk about entry, new journal, you see you can't able to enter for all. You are allowed to enter only for one ledger set 1, that is this. But when you go for review for all the ledgers you can able to possible. You can review data for A, B, 1, MRC ledger, USD. You can review the data for all this because we give read. But when you talk about write we give it only for ledger set 1. Ledger set 1 what you have, MRC you have. So that is the reason you can read as well as write. Followed, gentlemen.
Yes, I.
Harsha.
Yes, right.
Fine, this is all about general ledger, gentlemen. Tomorrow we'll start with what you call introduction to purchasing, introduction to payables, so on.
Okay, sir.
Take care, Harsha. Take care, Sukumar. Bye-bye.